Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And today we're talking about Two-Face, Crime and Punishment. This comic was released around the time Batman Forever was coming out, so both Two-Face and Riddler got their own one-shot comics that restarted their origin, basically. A lot of people don't like this comic. I personally do, so without further ado, let's dive right in. The cover starts right off by dividing the book's title by having the villain's name separated by two different typefaces. One seeming normal and using a bold yellow, the other seeming more disturbed using a purple to white gradient. We then move to our villain hiding in front of a brick wall, flipping his coin, more than likely deciding on whether or not to shoot down the cop in the background. Two-Face himself is then partially covered in shadow, highlighting his torso and hiding his lower body. 'Cause you know they need to showcase his better half. We open up atop a skyscraper during a thunderstorm. Opposition, William Blake wrote, is true friendship. I beg to differ. And we watch as Harvey has a mental struggle with himself as his other half continues to insult him until he flips his coin, giving him his choice to jump and take his own life. The comic goes from panel to panel, jumping to Dent as a child while it's first a happy scene. It quickly jumps to depression as we see his father becoming loving one second to becoming a psychopath beating the crap out of him the next. Harvey wouldn't let the monster win. He knew if he waited long enough, the monster would go away, and Harvey'd have his daddy back. 'Cause what better way to start off a comic book than with good old child abuse? We go to 10 days earlier at a Save Our Children's video-thon, where a young boy named Ty is being annoyed by the host to talk about his traumatic experiences, only to be interrupted by Two-Face, who throws a twin-headed snake on the guy.
I hate snakes, Chuck! I hate them!
As the host dies, Two-Face goes on a rant about TV viewers ignoring the truths of life and that the past can never be healed or changed. He then sets his sights on TV flipping his coin as to whether or not he'd kill Ty, all while arguing with himself over the consequences. When the coin lands on the good side, Two-Face spares him, but Ty begs for death. "I'm bad, mister. I do really bad things. Oh, please, I want to die." This comic's all sorts of fucked. Two-Face is enraged at what Ty is saying, that a child is abused, yet the abuser blames Ty. We jump to an old man getting drunk who can't stand our villains ranting. While in the Batcave, Batman is contemplating his friend's past, what almost happened to Ty in his own past. Alfred tries to crack a couple of jokes, but Batman isn't having it. "Enjoy the scone, sir." "Damn it, Alfred, I wanted blueberry, not banana nut." Our hero monologues about who he knows his Two-Face's real target, which could be his own father. "I could find him given the time, but I don't know how much time I've got." Witch's move is apparently an explosion that sounds like bada boom at a club, as the comic boxes go into monologue about Two-Face's reign of terror and Batman saving as many lives as he can. We go to a club being attacked as Batman joins the fight, and I don't know what about this panel bugs me. I don't know if it's the weird angles or if it's the shadows, but alas, Batman takes down the men. I wonder if the club goers are as oblivious as the club goers at Vanilla Ice's concert from Secret of the Ooze. The next 2 pages are a spread of hero monologuing about needing to stop Two-Face, while Two-Face argues with himself about why his better half is really doing what he's doing. I personally enjoy this 2-page spread simply because it shows both aspects of hero and villain, as well as showcasing inner fight between Two-Face and Harvey. You just don't get it, do you? Didn't you learn anything at that old man's knee? In this world, nobody's innocent. And everybody pays. Our disturbingly creepy eyeless hero continues contemplating what Two-Face's goal is and figures something out as we are shown an empty chair. We then follow the old man who walks into an uninvited guest in his own home, and our villain takes over the TV station yet again. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Two-Face, and my special guest tonight is the man responsible for the bloody nightmare that's been consuming your fair city. That's right, tune in tonight on Gotham News 10. We will dive into the cockroach that ate Gotham City, and we'll also go into detail on that doctor that's a little bit demented. All jokes aside, the next couple of panels are kindly mentally fucked up, as we see Two-Face announce to Gotham that the reason for his mental stasis is not due to stress, nor was it the acid thrown on him, but it's all thanks to his loving father, and as he contemplates whether or not he actually loves his father, he asks, why did this man reach down from Olympus, lift up his small son, and cast him into hell? Two-Face then proceeds to beat his father to hell and back, to the point it drives him to pull his gun out, but the tables are turned as it turns out that the man he's been beating up is actually Batman in disguise. That's right, I took a beating for justice! The fight begins as Two-Face and his men swarm around the Bat, all while he shows that Two-Face really does love his father, despite his angry outcries. After a weirdly drawn up-close of our villain, Batman takes down the rest of Two-Face's men, and Harvey runs off. I love him, I hate him, love him, hate him, love him, hate him, but somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to pay. For once we're in agreement. Our villain runs into the street declaring someone has to pay as we catch up to the beginning of the book, but this time we see Batman jumping after Harvey and catching him in time. Harvey isn't happy though and tries to fight Batman, but he's overpowered and our hero takes over. Give him what he wants, Harvey. Let Two-Face hit the street. Let his bones break, his blood run. Let him die! Let him die, Harvey! He put pineapple on the pizza! Batman catches Two-Face in midair, and as he's brought safety, we can see that Harvey finally is rid of his worser half, and the next day, Alfred talks to Bruce about whether or not he believes Two-Face is gone, and not whether or not Harvey got a happy ending. But you never stop trying to make them happen, do you, sir? No, Alfred, and I never will. This comic is at least worth a read. It's not great, but at the same time, it does go into detail on the different ways that Two-Face could have turned out, and is one of the few things that actually go into his inner struggle, which both films have deemed unnecessary and unplausible and just make him a crazy person. That being said, join me next week when we dive into this year's Batman that I'm deeming super by joining me with the Batman Superman movie.